You look at the lineup, you don't have a lot of our main guys there, but two things. One, it's a back-to-back that we don't want our top-end guys to play. And two, there's too many guys battling for spots now. So some will say it might not be the prettiest lineup, but it might be the most important one of the camp.
See, what do those guys, how will those guys separate themselves so that when you guys sit down as a group to make a decision, you'll say, this is the reason why we're keeping this guy over that guy?
Well, some are specifics because they've showed specific traits that we absolutely need in our lineup, and some other guys will be because of their consistency. And, if you've seen one great game and then two average ones, it's tough to say that's the guy that you want because he had that one good game. So tonight makes it maybe somebody's fourth game. And that makes a difference because if you play one great one and three average ones, it's tough to decide that's the guy because he should be doing it. We're not going to make decisions on people that should be doing it, who has done it. So that's why tonight it's big. It really, and it's going to be tough. They're going to have they're going to have a lineup with older guys. They're in there. It is a pretty intimidating rink. If you didn't know, like if you go around the NHL, and when I remember, it's loud. It's like the old rinks. They're smaller and tighter, and they got a big team, big physical team. So we're expecting the players to be challenged, and that's what we want to see. A bit like Montreal. The first game against Montreal, we just let the guys out there and see who can handle it. And we got information in that game, and tonight will give us confirmation on some guys, doubts on some other ones. But it's a very important game tonight for a lot of these guys that are trying to make the team, because after these two games, we're going down to who's going to start with us.
Friday, pretty much.
Friday, everybody that we can put in the lineup that are our guys, we're putting in the lineup, 100%.
Stone was saying today he's pretty confident that he'll...
Yeah, he's looking very good. There's no signs of retracting back for any reasons. Is under a lot of physical strain. There's no issue in practice. There's no issue. It's just he hasn't had a lot of practices with the team, so we're kind of we'll wait. So he gets today skate. He comes on the trip tomorrow skate. He's with the players, he hears the meetings, and we get back, we get another practice on Thursday, another morning skate on Friday. We're more comfortable doing that with him than just throwing him out there and without reps in practice.
Would you anticipate that he would play Friday though, if all goes well in his test?
Yeah, if everything goes well in the test, we're definitely hoping he can play Friday.
And what kind of player do you see him as?
Oh God. He's an extremely smart player that does all the small details right. I know he's still young, but every coach that I've talked to has said terrific things about him, whether when they've coached against him or they had him at the Worlds. Or he's one of those special people that can that sees the game in a slow pace. He plays the game at a high pace, but his mind is at a slow pace, and that's the trait of great players. Other players will panic and they're just poised with the puck. They feel they have a fraction of a second more because they thought about it before, and he has those traits absolutely.
Is Drieger backing up, and if so, do you expect Anderson to play all tomorrow?
Yes, that's the plan. So unless we feel that Andy hasn't had enough reps, and by the way, thanks guys for respecting his privacy and his personal matter. It's I know that. He was very happy about that, and so were we, because it has nothing to do with hockey. And now he's back, so we're hoping he's going to be able to play tomorrow. That's the plan, at least.
Would you expect to play a full game tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There's less concern, I would think, of a goalie, especially a veteran goalie, missing part of training camp,
Yeah.
and still being ready for.
Yeah, especially him. He's not a technical goalie. He's more of a read the play, so he hasn't lost that over the summer. So sometimes technical goalies they'll tend to need those repetitions to make sure that technically they're perfect, and he's not that type of goalie. He's luckily, because you're right, in that case he might have needed a few more days, but in his case he's experienced and he's smart. He knows what he needs, and in his mind he'll be okay with these two games.
What do you expect from him this season?
Sorry?
What do you expect from him this season? How many games would you like to see him play?
Oh, that's one question. It's not that I don't want to answer your question. It's because I never look at the number before the season starts. For me, it's always circumstantial. Sometimes you do great and your backup is doing amazing, then you can give him a few more rests during the season, but sometimes it's crunch time and he's doing amazing. He's on a stretch of, 4 wins and he's got 2 shutouts and you don't want to touch that. So it really is circumstantial. So I'd love to give you a number, but I've made that mistake in the past before, and it's not a good expectation for the player, and it's not for the coach either, because you get lost after with the reality. It's the same with everything. You've got all your lines set up and you're a defenseman. It looks all pretty on paper. Then the game starts and the one guy sleeping on one line, the other guy got injured, and all of a sudden there goes your plan. And that's coaching. So it's the same on the short span as it is on the long span of things, that eventually life happens, and then you gotta. So I'd rather keep it open. So that's it. When you can give a rest to a number 1 goalie, it's because the backup's doing very well, because you need to win. So if your backup's doing average, you can't give a lot of rest to your number 1 goalie. So I think right now Hammond's doing very well. And he's going to be well surrounded. I think Pierre has a good grasp on him now. I think he looked very calm in the net, contrary to last year up to now. So we're hoping that, and I think he'll be able to give us some really good games. So we'll be able to rest our goalie whenever we can. Hopefully that's what we're going to get, but I think that's what's going to happen.
They won't have to make as many interruptions in practice once they get this system down.
You know what? The NHL is a no practice league now because of the number of games and the traveling you got to do. So, teams like Chicago and LA, they never practice because the same players, mainly same coaches, same systems. But you can only do that because you're there, because of the consistency in your organization. When you have a new coach and new players, new staff, especially at the beginning now, like if you look at us, we didn't get any reps with our team yet, really. We haven't had our team on the ice once. So it's parts of our team together with young guys that are trying to make it. So I would like it to go faster, but you can't. If you go faster, it's because you're really not paying attention to details, and the details make the difference. So right now, for a while, it's I need to stop it and show them, and that's why this morning, instead of having just a nice little morning skate, you can't. We don't have time. There's practice Thursday and practice Monday and Tuesday and next week, and we need to win against teams that are, that are ready. So it's meetings, it's individual meetings with players, lines, power play, so everything we can show in little time, we have to. So yes, but during the year, I'll stop it every time. But to me, to let things go just to get pace is the wrong thing, because you talk about habits, you want habits, but you let the bad habits creep in, so then that's my fault. So I need to be right on top of that.
Do you have an update on Zach Smith and Clark MacArthur?
Clark wasn't here today, so I would have to. I'll be honest with you. This morning, I didn't check up on Clark. It's a game day. We got so many players still here, so I'll check up on that for you if you want after. And Zach was here. He was in the meeting. It's better every day. It's his foot, and it's not broken. We thought maybe it was worse, but it's not. So they've done all the tests, and it's fine. It's just nasty. It just really hurts. And if it was playoff, most probably he'd be playing, but it's not. And so we'll rest him, and hopefully by Friday he's ready to go.
So he won't make a trip?
No, we'll keep him here. The problem is it's his foot, and so you get on the plane, the swelling is worse on planes, and get back at 3 or 4 in the morning on the Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, whatever, however you look at it, and that's not very good for somebody who's got to get his swelling down. So that's why.
Is there any sort of timetable or guess as to when Lazard can get back?
No, and that's the touchy one. I'm not a doctor, but I did have mono before, and it just, you got to wait till all the symptoms are gone. Even though you feel good, that's where you got to be smart. And I think the energy's gone up every day. He feels like I'm ready to go, but until the spleen is perfect, we won't go there. So it's not that I don't want to tell you. When I know, guys, like when I can tell you and I know, just like now, I'll tell you for sure. That's the way I like to run my things.